Well, Afrotone Media Holdings is the new holding company for ANN7 and the New Age. The Competition Commission, after reviewing the submissions made by Afrotone Media, TNA and ANN7, says the proposed merger constitutes a small merger. The Commission is of the view that the proposed transaction is unlikely to alter the structure of the market and therefore is unlikely to substantially prevent or lessen competition in any market. The Commission also considered the activities of the merging parties and found the proposed transaction does not present a horizontal overlap, as Afrotone Media is not active in the media market. Afrotone Media has assured the Commission that it will not have any negative impact on jobs. Well, joining us now in studio is Executive Chairman of Afrotone Media Holdings, Manyi. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today, boss man.
Good morning to the rest of your viewers.
I mean, the deal creates a lot of questions, obviously. In light of this, can you share more information about the merger of Afrotone with ANN7 and the New Age?
What questions does it create? No, I'm pleased. Yeah. No, I think it's a new dawn for all of us in this table now. We now have cleared all the hurdles, so to speak, regulatory hurdles, because the Competition Commission is a very important cog in the whole wheel. It could have come back and raised all the things that it has raised that we've cleared. It could have raised them as objections, and this could have delayed things. So as from yesterday, as we speak, we now know that the deal is effective, and Afrotone is now the new holding company. So we're very excited, all of us here, that we hope that a new breath of fresh air into the media space has dawned.
Well, with that said, I mean, what can we expect from the business development goals? What are the key objectives of Afrotone Media Holdings?
Look, I think this Afrotone Media Holdings is going to redefine the media landscape. We are going to have a media house that is going to be very inclusive of all South Africans, not just particular sectors. This is going to ensure that the various voices that were otherwise suppressed in the media discourse now get to see the light of day. This is going to ensure that even people in the rural communities are going to be integrated into the market space. People must know that there are people there, they're not stepchildren of the country, as it were. And indeed, a lot of activities in the country that were otherwise not reported will now be reported. So indeed, this is going to be the place where all the news are reported, and this is the only station that has got the agility to have breaking news. So when you watch ANN7, you are watching a news channel that is going to tell you at the moment of things are happening. We don't wait for 7 o'clock, then only then things happen. In ANN7, we break news all the time. So if you want freshness, this is the place to be.
What does the culture of the company represent for you?
Look, I think we are going to have to work and introduce a new culture, as it were. There's a culture that was existing here, but the culture that we're going to have going forward is a culture that is inclusive, is a culture that has got a very, we inherit a culture of a high work ethic. We're going to continue with that. ANN7 people are hard workers, so that is going to continue. And indeed, we just want to make sure that you look forward to coming to work. We make sure that we are going to strive to be the best employer, as it were, and that's really what we're trying to do.
Can you shed some light on the shareholding patterns of the new holding company, Afrotone Media?
Look, I think what it means basically is that I think at the primary level, you really have like lorry dogs. People probably would know about what is the relationship. You have lorry dogs, and then let's say you have Oak Bay on the other side. And then lorry dogs got into the discussions with Oak Bay, as it were. And then when the discussions were ripe, then we put together, then lorry dogs put together a special purpose vehicle to make the acquisition. So the acquisition, strictly speaking, has been made by the new entity, which is Afrotone Media Holdings, which is owned 90% by lorry dogs and 10% by management, so to speak. So that is the company that has made acquisition of the Oak Bay shares of the ANN7 and the New Age. So with ANN7, we own it 100%. With the New Age, we own it something like 92, 93%, 7% of New Age is owned by the Indian counterparts. So Indian Times Media. So those are the only other element in the shareholding that are in the space. Otherwise, the rest is owned by us here.
When mergers happen, questions about job security often surface. What does it mean for existing workers and new employment opportunities for people?
I think that was one of the strategic reasons why the acquisition was made, to save jobs. This acquisition has meant that the 500-odd employees of both ANN7 and the New Age get to keep their jobs. In fact, interestingly, the business in the past couple of months has been doing so well that, in fact, we have been employing more people already. So we've kept jobs, but there are new faces here, people that are here can attest to that the place is beginning to grow already. So indeed, we think we're going to go higher and higher.
You mentioned earlier on there's a focus on community stories, a strong emphasis on getting the untold stories told. What are some of the new content we can expect on both ANN7 and within the TNA newspaper platform?
The key word is going to be integration. So within ANN, we are the only publication that integrates three things. We integrate the broadcasting with print, with online. We are the only ones that can do that. So we're going to make sure that what you get on ANN7 is going to serve, if you like, as an announcement as to what is happening and everything. And then when you want an in-depth analysis of what everything you've seen on ANN7, you then go to the New Age at your leisure. And then you can go through New Age and see what we've written. Like, for instance, we have now broken the story about the PIC, the shenanigans, in our view, that have been happening around the PIC, where money is given to companies that you wonder how did these companies make it through the due diligence process. But somehow PIC gave money to these companies only to write or to be in the process of writing those monies off. So whether what is happening in there is legit or not, we don't know. So our investigating team are going to look into that. And if you want more detail on that, the New Age is going to write much more in-depth detail about that. But indeed, to bring also it to life, we're going to make sure that in the studio here at ANN7, we bring all the various analysts and we unpack this thing. We're of the view that a lot of pensioners' money have not gone right within the PIC, given the kind of investments that were made. There's monies that are in Mozambique and so on ventures that we don't know how did they pass the investment criteria. So there are a lot of questions around how PIC invested the money of the pensioners, questions that must be answered. So Afrotone is the place where this is going to be. ANN7 is the place where you're going to read freshness about this and get the true facts of the story, and everybody is welcome. So if PIC wants to come and defend this position, we're giving an open invite right here that they can come on the studio and unpack this mystery as to why is it that, I mean, they've got a whole spreadsheet. Everything is almost red in terms of its inability to repay the money back. So there's billions and billions of rands that are never coming back to the PIC. South African public needs to know this. ANN7 is the only place which is telling the story. Everybody else is quiet about this. This is why it's important to have this news house, because here all the secrets come out.
First Fast Live, as we obviously live by here at ANN7. Thank you, Zwanele Manyi, of course, joining us for that update on the Afrotone Media Holdings merger that occurred with ANN7 and the New Age. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Of course, you are one who represents many, and we wish you all the best in representing the voices of the masses, where their stories need to be told, heard, so that justice and responsibility and accountability can be maintained.
Thank you very much.
Of course, that was the executive chairman of Afrotone Media Holdings, Zwanele Manyi.